On this show, I am no Joe Biden stan. I think that's fair to say. I try to be as fair as humanly possible when evaluating the policies that he pursues. So I'll give him credit when I think he does something good, but I'll also go after him when I think he does something bad. So when it comes to, the big picture, I think Biden is swinging and missing. He said he was going to get us a public option. He hasn't lifted a finger to get us a public option. We haven't got the minimum wage increased for, the entire country. He only did an executive order to do it for federal employees and federal contractors, which impacts about 400,000 people, which I think is good, but is not the same as getting it for the entire country. And he didn't really fight for it. And the list goes on. The PRO Act, they backed off of the PRO Act, which would have been a phenomenal piece of pro-union legislation. So in other words, I will criticize the guy in sincere and legitimate and genuine ways. However, this is not what the right does. They don't even go after him based on policy stuff. Like, for example, one of their big talking points is that he's in favor of open borders. He's not in favor of open borders at all. For a long time, he kept in place Title 42, which took away due process for immigrants and kicked them right out because of the pandemic. He did Remain in Mexico, which was a Trump-era policy. He's deported countless people. So it's like they go after him in the most bogus ways imaginable. And like I said, if he does something good, I'll give him credit. I think pulling out of Afghanistan was great. I think that was great. Having said all that, I want to show you, this is the anatomy of a right-wing lie with how they go after Joe Biden. Because this is, look, there's no other way to say this. You can't sign on to these things fundamentally unless you're dishonest, unless you're a liar. Like, if you don't know the thing I'm about to tell you, that's one thing. But after I show you, if you still sign on to it, it's like you're just a hack. Like, you don't care about the truth. So here's RNC Research. They posted this. He's in a meeting with Modi and many others, and listen to the argument. Listen to the thing that they clipped out of Joe Biden saying.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
I sold a lot of state secrets, is what he said. Okay? Let me show you Marjorie Taylor Greene. She clips the same thing. I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things. Joe Biden's brain is going, and he's literally admitting to his crimes out loud. Impeach Biden. It's unreal and so insulting to America. Let's watch the clip one more time.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Sold a lot of state secrets. There's a lot of very important things that we shared. Here is the full clip.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look, we're teaming up.
The world's most obvious joke. Listen to what he says and look at Modi's face.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared. Now, all kidding aside, look, we're teaming up.
So people who are pushing this are literally just lying. Like, it's just a lie. Whoever clipped that out originally was doing it to be misleading on purpose. Guys, there's a million things you can go after Joe Biden for. A million things. Pick something legitimate. Pick something fair. Pick something reasonable. Pick something with actual evidence or proof behind it. For example, I gave him credit for pulling out of Afghanistan, but you know what else he's doing? He's sanctioning the country and keeping billions of dollars from them. That is their money, because he doesn't want it to get into the Taliban's hands. As a result of that, women and children are dying. They're being starved to death. Criticize him over that. Instead, they have to lie. They can't help themselves. They have to lie because they don't care about the policies. They don't care about the specifics. They don't care about the details. Yeah, true enough. It was clearly a joke. Clearly. Now, if you want to say, hey, here's evidence of him actually doing that despite he was joking, okay, show that evidence. Show the evidence. They didn't show shit. They just clip something out of context and lie about it. And by the way, it is a rich, rich lie, given that what? That's one of the accusations against Trump with that the classified documents that he had. Now, look, I'll be fair. That is unproven. We need more evidence to come to that conclusion. But what I will say is this. Taking $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, as Jared Kushner has done, kind of sketchy. Trump taking tens of millions or $100 million from Saudi Arabia for the live golf events at his golf courses. Taking $5 million from the Sultan of Oman and doing a business deal with them as he's running for president, which is illegal, by the way. Now, there are real questions around Joe Biden, too. More specifically around Hunter, with all of his corruption, the Burisma board, all that stuff is fair. That's all fair game, man. All fair game. I wouldn't touch the Hunter Biden's dick and his drug addiction and his sex affairs, and that's like, okay, that's none of our business, right? But the corruption stuff is definitely our business. And people should care about that. It should be investigated thoroughly. Well, you had a Republican investigator look into him, and all he was able to get him on was a gun charge and some tax stuff, right? It was a Trump-appointed investigator, too. So, but I still think it's fair to criticize Hunter over those things specifically. But you cannot show a clip and just lie about what went down there. If they were to post the clip and show that it was a joke, and then say, but he's really not joking, and then post evidence of him selling state secrets, that's fine. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Because they can't. And they don't care. Whoever clipped that does not care. They don't care about being honest. They don't care about being authentic. They don't care about the specifics. It's just, we don't like Joe Biden. We're going to throw a bunch of mud against the wall and hope something sticks. Which is why, like I said, you get a situation where every single criticism they levy against him somehow ends up being stupid and wrong. And making me defend Joe. Because he's not for open borders. One of the things they tried to impeach him on was pulling out of Afghanistan. Marjorie Taylor Greene did. And now you're just lying about stuff he said. It's just a flat-out lie. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And again, none of these people said anything about the $640 million that Jared and Ivanka made when in the White House, the $2 billion Jared took from Saudi Arabia, the millions that Trump took from all these foreign governments. They didn't care. You should. You should care about that, and you should care about Hunter's sketchiness and questions, but again, show the evidence, care about it when it's corruption in both parties, and be honest. They don't show the evidence, they don't care about it in both parties, and they're not honest, as this proves beyond any doubt at all. So, you make your mind up. You want to side with a bunch of charlatans and frauds and con men and liars? By all means, but that would say a lot about you. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.